Greetings from Costa Rica, folks, and thank you very much for joining me for an extremely special Mattvent 15. Unfortunately, I couldn't even get the right overlays uploaded in time because things have been very busy here in Junquillal, but I'm excited to celebrate this day with a special broadcast where we are going to plow through some awesome Guanacaste Costa Rica real estate listings. Really, I'm going to go over the inventory of amazing properties that I have for sale, including 5 properties that are very affordable land parcels under $135,000. We'll start down at just $60,000 for a beach property here in Costa Rica in our quiet community. And we'll go all the way up to a whopping $19.5 million beachfront development property, all within the range of about 40 minutes. Because if anything on my show, I love to be as efficient as possible and to ensure that I'm never boring my audience just yakking about stuff that isn't relevant. By the way, I have over 360 Costa Rica videos uploaded to date about every range, every topic related to the real estate market, from the market analysis, reports on specific communities. Also, I keep you posted with new listings. We will also include today, for example, 2 fire sale properties, ones that have had really great price, one a price reduction where, yeah, you're looking at an absolutely motivated seller who wants to either sell in 2 weeks or hold off. You also have a condo for sale in a prime location where a seller is just ready to get some cash in the table, cash in the account. You don't put cash in the table. They're hoping somebody will put cash on the table for them. That is a prime location, Flamingo Marina Front, basically oceanfront condo there, which is one of the fire sales that we will get to at the end of our Mattvent Day 15 here. Again, my name is Matt Rosensteel. Thanks so much for joining me. As soon as we're back, we'll be starting off with 5 extremely affordable land parcels under $135,000, one as low as $60,000. Thanks for joining me and stay tuned. Greetings again from Costa Rica as I get Dimitri out the door for his lunch. I'm happy to be here Friday, December 15th at noon. We're always live Fridays at noon, and we're also doing daily videos for Mattvent, which is inspired by an Advent calendar. It's also inspired by the concept of accomplishing a New Year's resolution in December prior to January. I really wanted to get 25 videos out there to be able to introduce some new team members and to accomplish a lot on my channel. So we're on day 15 today. We have 2 Johns already in the audience. If we have anybody else out there watching live, do be sure to like, comment, react, discuss this video. We're going to be going through some awesome real estate listings, and I'm still going to keep it under 40 minutes, even though we're already 11 minutes past 12. Don't you fret. John Miller, thank you very much for your jokes. However, trying to ignite a George Santos debate in the chat, while it could be productive for SEO, might actually end up really doing some damage to me in terms of YouTube filters. Let's start talking about our real estate listings here. And one of the things I want to be clear about is that, really, as a seller's agent, I end up representing a lot of sellers in my community of Playa Junquillal, the areas surrounding it. And then I do also have some exciting projects that are outside of Junquillal. Here's our charming little community here that you can see. We're not going to be visiting through this 3D tour, but if you want to look at this tour and take 3D drone flights from the beach, etc., if you want to stand at different vantage points and watch the ocean from our beach, then be absolutely sure to log in to CostaRicaMatt.com and launch this tour. But first and foremost, what I want to do is get to 5 inexpensive land parcels that are for sale in our community and give you all a quick payoff here with our first listing, a $60,000 home site that's literally 250 meters down the road from me. I wish I could help the people standing outside the office, but right now, given the fact that I'm broadcasting live, I just can't help them as well. This little parcel right next door to me, or just next, down the road, one of the biggest advantages it has is that you have 2 lovely homeowners on either side of the property, where really you have your only buildable lots on either side. You can see you have clearly public road frontage here, and then this small road that goes back to the farmland behind us. But really, it's only a 15-minute walk down to the beach. You've got enough space for a lovely 2, 3, or 4 bedroom home. And importantly, because these neighbors are already built on both sides, you don't have to worry about somebody coming in and doing something wild. And both people, I can say, because I know this neighborhood, are very quiet and good neighbors to have. Next, let's go up just a little bit in price and just a little bit in size. Whereas the last lot was $60,000 and just under a fifth of an acre, or more of an eighth of an acre rather. Our next listing is a quarter of an acre. These 1,000 square meter lots, really that are also a 15, 20-minute walk to the beach on these really cool back roads. Let's see if we have the location pin correctly. Yeah, absolutely. So while they don't look like they're on the beach, if you like these, longer walks and you like country roads, then you can snake your way back here to get to 2 gorgeous beach from these home sites. And for $65,000, you have really enough room for a pretty substantial property. There are 3 lots next door to each other, each 1/4 acre or 1,000 square meters. You can do 977 square meters on this one. You could obviously negotiate to buy all 3 of these right in a row back here behind Paraíso. Speaking of Paraíso, our next affordable listing here, and let me just arrange things, is actually a very interesting property because it is right smack dab in the absolute center of town. I have to say that this might not be anybody's choice lot if you want a quiet Costa Rica lifestyle. But if you're looking to set up some kind of office here, if you've got an idea for a restaurant, or if you want to invest long-term in some commercial sort of spaces, this is on the Plaza Deportiva right here, where the road goes either down to Junquillal or up to Negra. Basically to our back, you go to Playa Negra. You could plop a business down here, and long-term, that crossroads, it's basically like having a point of sale right in the middle of Villa Real, outside of Tamarindo, except Junquillal is just less developed. Number 3 today, we have $130,000 home site. The shockingly great thing about this listing is that it is very close to the beach. From this home site, it's downhill directly to the water about 2 blocks. I mean, really only 250 to 300 yards. Let me get over. I can see that there are photos demonstrating that. It's a little hilltop lot, so you're actually, 20, 30 meters above sea level. So you're really not worried about waves or climate change or anything. Yeah, you've got 250 meters as your walking distance to the beach. This is not in a gated community, so there's no restrictions outside of national law as to what you can build. You can build up to 1.5 times the road width on this kind of property, thanks to Costa Rica construction law. And so you could probably build up about 60 feet in the air. However, I would not sell this as a real ocean view property. This gorgeous lush forest that has grown up everywhere along the coast is only going to keep growing. It will be protected, and your views are always going to be limited by this tree cover. Here in Junquillal, we are not blessed with those cliffs, that come right up to the ocean. You can see from this photo here, we've got some pretty flat topography right around the coast. So it's not a place where you've got those jaw-dropping 270-degree ocean views. Next on the list, and our fifth property under $135,000, is the most affordable lot in the gated community where this is the pool. My wife and I have had the pleasure of having access to this pool since our sons were born, and we're probably two of the people who spend the most time in it, more than anyone else on Earth. Tierra Pacifica is a great ecological gated community. It has solid ownership. You've got over 50 homes built in the community so far. It was built with this ecological concept where they put electrical infrastructure underground. They also protected all of the drainage paths. I mean, it's just a really sharp eco community. And the developers also built these spectacular cascading multi-tiered pools. It doesn't look like we have a picture here, but one of these buildings has a gym in it that's arguably, they have 15 to 20 workout machines in there. It's not just a couple of treadmills and a couple of dumbbells. It's a really well fleshed out gym as well. They have a yoga salon, etc. And for example, if we wanted to come explore Tierra Pacifica on that 360-degree virtual tour that I mentioned the other day, you could do so right here at costaricamat.com, here pulling up the 3D tour. If we were wearing a 3D mask, you would actually be able to look around just like you were in a virtual world. And I'm looking and seeing, hopefully you guys, okay, you're still seeing the stream out there. I've got two different windows open. You would still be able to see, you'd hear things in 3D audio, etc. And this whole tour is set up so that you can kind of wander around not only Tierra Pacifica, but then Playa Junquillal, Playa Avellanas, etc. Or for example, if you wanted to come to Plaza Tierra Pacifica and you wanted to duck in to our office, you could come in and virtually say hello in one of the strangest little Easter eggs anybody's ever put into their own 3D tour. But anyhow, whoops, I did not mean to minimize that window. Coming back up here, we are going to pull, nope, sorry about that. Our next listing is actually in this plaza that I wanted to bring up. We're going to talk first. We've moved from lots, and we did 5 of the most affordable lots in the area. Now, we're going to go on to condos and look at some of the most affordable condos in the area. First of all, we're going to go upstairs in my building here to Plaza Tierra Pacifica number 4, which is currently the most affordable condo for sale in Junquillal. At $285,000, you get 1,400 square feet. You get really great vaulted ceilings. The condo just feels like it's got this great volume to it. And renters tend to love it because you've got a supermarket just downstairs. You've got a gorgeous little pool here in the back that we will get to. And it's only shared by 7 condos. It's not a huge complex. You've got this pool shared by only those 7 units. Also wanted to mention, anybody who has questions, comments, concerns, you're welcome to ask in the chat here, and I'll continue to pan back here and there. I do need 1 second to get a sip of coffee, or else I might pass out here. Mm. Funny, I was doing broadcasts at 8 and 9 p.m. and I felt wide awake. Now at 12 in the afternoon, I'm a little bit enjoying the effects of our company party last night, to say the least. So anyhow, let's come over to the next, back to our condo to wrap that up. At $285,000, you also get, this is your balcony. Obviously, there are other condos with access to this, but you've got a parking space and storage unit as well. And because of the security, the way this building is set up, it's really a place that would just be absolutely simple to turn the key and leave it, because you've got security down here, activity, all kinds of stuff happening constantly. In just a moment, I am going to be looking up our next condo here without trying to show all of my listing links, etc. Here we go. Another listing that I absolutely love in Junquillal is Iguana Villas #2. These are bigger condos. They are actually 1,700 square feet interior, rather under roof space. You've got a porch that's massive on the back of every one of these units. Um, this unit was recently taken from the Spanish colonial version, the original construction, and it was completely modernized with these quartz countertops that you see, all new appliances, beautiful teak doors. They changed the floor plan to add a walk-in master closet, to add a utility room here back in the corner. That's so clutch. The other units do or don't, depending on whether or not people have added them. They also changed out the floor tile, even on the porch here that you can see. It is unfurnished, and you can see the entire unit. There's just tons and tons of room in a 1,700 square foot place. Upstairs, you've got the master suite, a huge balcony, for enjoying the outdoors. Right now, there are two Pacific screech owls nesting that sleep every single day in a nearby palm tree. This is actually one of my favorite listings to show because of that reason. Also, they have a 9-jet jacuzzi tub, just to veer in the other direction and talk about luxury finishes, etc. Here's the pool at Iguana Villas. Again, it's a small complex. There are only 10 units in Iguana Villas. And most importantly, the thing I should have got to in the beginning, you are really close to Playa Blanca. It is, just a short walk. Here's the Iguana Villas project. Here is the Playa Blanca access down here. 10, 15 minutes, you're down at the beach, very leisurely walk. And Playa Blanca happens to be one of the most spectacular beaches in our area. I just want to show you here. This should be Blanca, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we are. So up here you can see sort of the very south edge of Blanca, where there's a hotel that used to be there. But really, the beach is white sand, as you can see. And these rocks are a public parking lot where you can come out to enjoy sunset. And you also have public access, really, that's going to come down to the beach down here. But most importantly, this is where you come out the beach at Playa Blanca if you live at Iguana Villas. That villa is priced at $425,000, unfurnished, completely as is. I'm going to leave this beautiful scene on for just 10 seconds and take another swig. Thank you, Cafe Brit, for your saving me. All right, let's move on to some homes. I was enjoying the break, to be quite honest. And let me make sure that we've got the volume off here so you guys aren't hearing that. Uh, the homes I want to talk about, we've got in our area. You've seen that over the last couple years, ever since COVID, stuff that was priced under $200 or under $300,000 was the absolute first stuff to sell. It really, you know, people rushed down to Costa Rica and were getting out of the COVID sort of conditions. Lots of them had that $250,000, in their pocket, but not much more. And so you saw, you do see that today the listings on the market can be over $300,000 just because of what has been, picked up here and there. In just a moment, as I prepare these listing links so that we don't have to interrupt our virtual tour once we get rolling on homes here, to bring you back over to first the most fun home that I have on the market, one that's definitely not like, for your average squeaky clean, I like white surfaces and modern look kind of people. This home is called Casa Tres Picos, and it's really close to Playa Blanca, where we were just virtually visiting on CostaRicaMatt.com. Here you get an idea of where the house sits in relation to those two beaches. You can walk out to Blanca this way. You would really go to Junquillal, walking out to the main road first, but it's got great access. It's got 4 bedrooms, so it's got great rental potential. Not many homes in our area have 4. You see a huge amount of inventory that has 2, some with 3, and then a very limited number of 4-bedroom homes. Well, Casa Tres Picos is definitely, you can see from the design on the outside, it's a property that will call people's attention when you get it marketed well. Look at the inside. This is the second level with a staircase going down to the first. Really, it feels like, we keep saying Swiss Family Robinson meets Guanacaste kind of feeling. Lots of wood. The home is very airy. Everything can flow. You've got 3 or 4 patios. This is one of them, the biggest one on the second level. Here's, all of the suites are big enough for couples. And the current owners of this property, they know how to Airbnb. They've stayed in properties themselves. They've bought new mattresses. They bought new linens. They put in a new fridge, a water purifier, all of the things that you need for a really attractive rental property they've done. I want to mention, I was going to say my next listing out there is currently under contract. And I have to say that this one might not ever drop out of contract. Kurt and George, if you're watching, trust me, I'm not trying to sell your home. What I want to talk about is what's on the market in Tierra Pacifica right now. Marianti is not. However, we're about to have another 2 listings that are extremely similar. One's a 3-bedroom home that is going to measure 150 square meters, sort of 1,500 square feet. The other is a little bit smaller, more 12, 13, or 1,400 square feet, and really, I think it's a 2, maybe 3-bedroom. Both of those houses are going to be listed at $420,000 and $425,000. So if you were in love with the idea of finding a turnkey, ready to move in home here in Tierra Pacifica in this perfect gated community, you can absolutely reach out to me. Email me at matt@costaricamatt.com, and I'll be able to send you those listings and keep you posted on what comes up for sale. Now that this heartbreakingly wonderful listing is taken by a couple of absolutely wonderful people who left me one of the best bottles I've recently received. Next, let's take it up a notch and talk about a little bit bigger property. In our area, we have a couple opportunities to really be able to expand on an existing property. And I find this particular home and this acre to be an ideal opportunity to do something like a B&B, cabins, surf, sort of getaway. Keep it small, but really, this particular property has an existing 2-bedroom home with these cool terraces. It's completely livable, but more livable for people who are surfers, relaxed. It's not really upgraded and modernized, but you could add on to this entire property. And the key thing is that you are exactly 250 meters walking distance from our beach. And you go, again, this is a listing where you literally just walk straight downhill, like that $130,000 lot I was talking about earlier. Here, you just dip down to the ocean, you're at the water, and you're at the north end of Junquillal in an extremely quiet spot. So for people who want to walk to the beach for the rest of their lives, perhaps build a family compound, or maybe do, your main house plus 2 or 3 little cabins, this could be an ideal property because it does have a full acre of land that's really flat and, pretty much developable. The house is positioned in the best spot on the site, so you'll probably want to tuck stuff sort of back into the forest that they've planted, but it's already beautifully shaded. There are wonderful Guanacaste trees on the property, and it would make just an immediate, awesome retreat place for anybody who is interested in having that sort of getaway property. Let's keep moving. I'm realizing I am running very short on my 40-minute deadline here. Come over and see if we've had any viewer questions. Ocean and valley views, mountains, primary forest, light restrictions. Okay. Well, oh man, there are millions of farms up in the mountains for sale. They are endless. My colleague Dimitri is looking for land for himself in that sort of environment. He finds view farms in mountains limitlessly available because all of the foreigners have bought up property here on the coast. It's flipped, it's flopped, it's become more expensive. Up in the hills of Guanacaste specifically, everybody is still changing over from cattle ranching to, uh, you know, any other way of living. So they would happily sell you their land. I, however, do not list a lot of those particular farms. And in fact, when a lot of Costa Rican farmers sort of ask me about selling their land, I generally say, look, the only way I could sell it now is to one of these people who is going to look for very low prices. And I'm also going to have to sell it, very fast at this low price. You will someday regret this, and I really try to encourage people with those big farms, if they're Costa Ricans, to keep it until the area has developed, and maybe someday they can be the ones building that Airbnb, or they can be the ones who take advantage of whatever niche agricultural market sort of comes on, in 10, 20 years. Anyhow, I don't hate farmers. I just don't want them to sell their land. Uh, Anyway, let's get back and talk about a magnificent titled beachfront home, Casa Jolre. You will not find many titled beachfront properties in Costa Rica. That is because of Costa Rica's wonderfully restrictive beachfront development laws. This is a titled beachfront property. I also have next door to this an empty lot with a 1-bedroom guest house for sale for $649,000. In fact, I'm going to bring that up so that we can get it up really quickly. But you've got $995 for this absolutely massive monolithic home. I mean, the construction quality of this can't be done at a cheap price point today, because you have this just, 2-level home where you maximize your ocean views by perching your entire living space and bedrooms on the second level here, while on the first level, they do have 2 enormous bodegas, things that could be garages. The house is extremely well secured. They've got bars on everything because beaches are public in Costa Rica. And here you can see how big the property is. You actually have enormous room behind this home to build extra structures or add a pool, etc. You could turn this into your little retreat center with cabinas behind it, because importantly, in this area, you have public road frontage and you have water. So, this main home could be the front, and you could add cabins back here. Next door, you can see just this little green roof line is this property, which has dropped down to $599,000. Here is Casa Jolre, $995. This is essentially an open lot with a guest house available to, to live in if you aim to build something on the front of the property. The guest house is currently renting extremely well. In fact, we can't, find gaps in the renters until April because people love beachfront properties so much and because it's being managed well. But anyhow, you can build your beachfront home here in front of the guest house, and that's the entire sort of value of this particular listing, which I call Casa Calypso at $599. This is also titled beachfront, to be clear, right in that same strip, just next to the $995 Casa Jolre. A little bit set back from the beach, I have a wonderful 3-bedroom, really brand spanking new kind of Airbnb maximized house here called Pura Chante. You can see from its look, Pura Chante is going to attract people. To be honest, I would completely wall in the lot because it's a smaller sort of 5th acre property, or 8th acre, sort of down in that range. And here you can see they added this awesome upstairs terrace to the house. You have 2 bedrooms on the first level, a massive master suite on the second level, balconies, and the interior space is just perfect. It's this modern, clean, a really open floor plan, kitchen, living, dining room. They also have one of the largest garages. I was trying to flip to that, but missed the picture there. Here's the upstairs balcony off the master suite, one of the downstairs bedrooms. Here's explaining just how close Pura Chante is to the water. You can see it here. It is not even a 5-minute walk. I mean, this is 175 yards. This is titled property. And so what you do in a community like Junquillal, when you're trying to build up a rental business and an investment property specifically, is really you just have to in your first year, strive for great reviews and maximizing them. You set your prices realistically, you invite friends, you promote it socially, you go into the community and get 20 to 30 good reviews as fast as you possibly can. But you're going to see in a place like Junquillal with a home like Pura Chante, people come, they walk down to the beach and back and down and back and down and back. They absolutely love their stay 100%. And you see that your occupancy rate, your second year, goes through the roof. And you start to really just build up this great business where you know who's coming down and you really have control over you have a definite rental income every year. Here, I am finally just trying to bring up the last 3 listings we're going to look at. I think we're at about 20. I hate to throw out random numbers and not achieve them, but I also hate to bore people and take too much of their time. So we are going to cover our 2 fire sales here at the absolute very end. And before that, I have just a couple more. That I've already brought up. And here we go. We'll bring this back into the studio. If you're looking for a slightly larger buildable property near the beach, at $198,000, this is a full, I'm sorry, that's a poor way to put it. This is a half acre, 2,000 square meters. You can see the distance to the beach. This is just up the road from a charming hotel called Mundo Milo in Playa Junquillal. Really it is super close walking distance. And importantly, you're tucked a couple blocks off the main road. So really you're back in a residential area that is developing in a much more quiet residential fashion than you're going to see down on the main road. And you would still have, you could build a home. This is not a negated community, but that would maximize both that privacy, security, and not being in the hustle and bustle, still having access. Two listings I want to talk about in Playa Grande that I have alluded to on my channel through a video where I was drawing on the sand. I'm very proud to announce that my partner and I are going to be marketing a 16-hectare beachfront parcel. This is a development property in Playa Grande. We also have a much more reasonable Playa Grande beachfront property that is on the market at $2 million for a 4,000 square meter oceanfront home site. Now that 4,000 square meters at $2 million is buildable essentially up to the 75-meter line. You can't build a tower, you can't put in a business. This will be restricted to building essentially a 2-story oceanfront home. But at 4,000 square meters, and especially because it's located in Playa Grande, absolutely a prime location that is exploding, that home site is one of very few titled oceanfront properties. And the miraculous thing, both listings, the large farm and this home site, Grande now has a much clearer legal picture than it did for the last decade. There were environmental and water-related restrictions on development in the community that were nebulous and were complete roadblocks to anyone building anything in the community for, like I said, over a decade. Those have all been clarified. So with those listings, the $2 million beachfront home site in Grande at 4,000 square meters, and a 16-hectare development parcel, you have clarity 100% as to what could be built, and you can very easily verify whether your vision for developing either property would be workable under Costa Rica law during your due diligence period. Finally, let's talk at long last about our fire sales. And really, for my first fire sale, I'm afraid I cannot actually bring up a listing because we've only seen it today. Let me bring up the map and show you where this fire sale condo is located. First, making sure that I have the right building myself. There we go, right here. And now I am going to bring you guys back onto the map. This, what you're looking at on Google Maps, is the Oceanica complex in downtown Flamingo. Flamingo obviously has been exploding because of the marina expansion. $35 million have been invested so far. There are now close to 200 boat slips, I believe. Property went through the roof, and you can see Flamingo is a limited market with limited space. So all of these condos were prime real estate to begin with. Now this marina has driven things through the roof. The first fire sale I want to talk about is a condo in the Oceanica building that is closest to the water. So you're literally down the beach to Margaritaville, only 100 yards. You literally just walk down these steep stairs straight down to Flamingo Beach itself. You're walking distance to all kinds of shops and restaurants that are springing up. You're also very quick walking distance to the Flamingo Marina itself. Properties in this area may depreciate in values at some point in the short or medium term, but long term, if you're invested in this kind of prime market, you're gonna see appreciation as this marina goes through at least 2 more phases of development, I believe. You've got waves of new projects that will be following up the initial 35 million. If you want to know more about that Oceanica condo, It's on the 6th floor. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. Really, we don't have an exact price. I had another listing there at $859. That was a fully remodeled condo on the 4th floor. This seller wants to get out of that Oceanica condo, liquidate it immediately. I'm actually going to be showing it after this broadcast, and this may be, unfortunately, a little too late. But if you've been watching for an Oceanica condo, 6th story, he's going to take a couple $100,000 below what market value is. And basically, he wants an offer as soon as today or Monday in order to just say, okay, if I get this liquidity out of it, I'm in good shape. So contact me at Matt@Costa Rica Matt with questions about that specific condo. The next fire sale I wanted to talk about was a really dramatic price reduction, and in fact, a very short-term possibility for sale. The folks who own this 11.7 hectare parcel really want to either liquidate it now, take their money and move on with other projects, or they're going to hold it and bank the land and see what possibilities come up in the future. They did have the listing at a much higher previous price, came down to $995 as an absolutely firm asking price with a buyer paying closing costs. That puts the per square meter price below $10. And really this parcel is ideally situated because, first of all, you're across the road from Hacienda Pinilla. Rhythmia, the absolutely world-renowned self-transformation center that is quickly growing and sprouting new branches. Rhythmia is only a few blocks away. You have on this property 10 ocean view terraces that are already cut out, or maybe let's say 8 or 9 ocean view terraces, but 10 that are cut. Some of them have gorgeous ocean views. Some have gorgeous valley views. You've got this property is already set up for developing an absolutely spectacular health retreat, any kind of yoga lodge. Avellanas is currently exploding, the area just down the road from this property, because the surf has always been perfect there. It's one of the most, we'll take a quick look here at Avellanas in the map. The community is quickly growing. The surf has always been perfect, and they finally got water 2 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago. So all of a sudden, down in the community of Avellanas, for example, right now, you have all of this area cleared for the new Mandi Homes development. I think that's going to be dozens of homes, somewhere in that range, not hundreds. You already have the Point down here, which was small condos, and you had the Enclave launched in Avellanas over here with 51 villas as well. So basically, as soon as there was any water in Avellanas, you saw people buying up that water access and building, because it's a hot spot, and it's really that surf that's absolutely 100% perfect. If we want to go up to Avellanas again on CostaRicaMatt.com and take a look at the surf break itself, you can see flying over here that really it's got such a broad area with so many different locations for people to surf, that it's just absolutely popular. And some people really say that Avellanas is their favorite destination on earth, or in Costa Rica at least, people who've been throughout the country. Here you can see we're still flying over surfers who are in breaks, further and further north as we go along the beach. There is a moment in this tour where you can see underneath the waves the clear silhouette of a turtle. It's really cool. Anyhow, so if we go back to looking at where this parcel is, you're just up the road here on this sort of Avellanas hillside, I would call it, or you could imagine it being that residential deluxe gated community just outside of town someday. Or really, this property will absolutely be an excellent location for that world-class health retreat, spa. You know, if you have 5 or 6 friends and you all want to purchase a property where you've got a lot of room, you know, 5 people could each be into this property for $200,000. And, you know, given the 29 acres, you would all end up with, you know, try to do that math quickly, you know, 6 acres more or less, and you could divide up the terraces, etc. So anyhow, those are my 2 fire sale options, folks. The Oceanica condo may go quicker than the Hideaway farm. That farm, again, is only for sale at $995 with the buyer also paying closing costs. They will not hear other offers, so do not worry about sending offers lower than $995. Listing links, yeah, right. Yeah, John Way. You saw what I was giving me a hard time there. Folks, as always, it has been an enormous pleasure. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell for more Mattvent as we get closer to the holidays here. Thanks so much for watching, and pura vida.